it feel this week? Obviously, I think yourself and a few of the players have said you've had an effort to kind of keep things positive through that 0-3, but to have that win on the weekend, have you felt there's a different mood, or obviously, yeah, up and about off the back of that, or?
No, I think the mood's the same. I think the first few games there was some really positive, passages of play that we were happy with, and the energy was the right energy. The talk was around obviously not winning, but the energy was fine off the back of what we were seeing. So to have a win on the weekend off the back of 4 quarters of pretty consistent footies, what we've been talking about was just a kind of reiteration of keeping those levels at the same kind of pitch. We trained today, main session. The energy was just as positive as it has been from round 1. So, very happy to get the result on the weekend against the quality opposition. But nothing's changed from a mood perspective. It's just about making sure now that we see what works well for us, and then we just double down on those things more consistently during games. And the energy around it's been really positive anyway.
Claudia was late out last week. Did you expect her to come straight back into the side? And obviously teams come out tonight, but any other kind of decisions you've already made, or?
There's a few. So Claudia trained today, so she's likely to come back into the side, which is positive. There might be a couple of other changes that we're looking at, but we don't need to make a decision on that right now. We've got a few more days up our sleeve. We've got a captain's run on Saturday before the game. So, no, I don't think there's going to be too much movement, but if we need to make a call, we've got the best availability on our list so far this season. Caitlin Tipping will play in the scrimmage on Saturday up at the Hangar, so we're all excited to see how she progresses in that game since her first game way back when. So we're looking forward to supporting her in her first run in the hoops. But as I said, our availability is really healthy at the moment, so it's a healthy competition for positions. What about Meg? Yeah, she's fronted up as per normal, captain of our side, really positive, lots of good energy. So she trained really well again today, in her quest to get back into the team. And we had some good match scrimmage, which was positive to watch back on the vision. So she's put her hand up to put herself in selection, which is good. But also she's, her work with the younger ones this week off the back of their game last week to kind of iron out a few things and support them with their next steps going forward has been really positive as well. So, Meg's had a really, really positive week on the track, on and off the field.
And what were some of the best things we saw out of the win that we plan on really knuckling down on in this week?
Probably around our contest work, like our mids are doing a really good job around CB. Like our clearance rate's been really good from round 1 to round 4, and against some quality teams like North and Adelaide have got some strong midfield too. Sydney's midfield's emerging, and you look at Prasparkas and Kane last week and Nanscorn, like they had a bit of the ball between them, but our girls did really well from start to finish. So I think our midfield battle against the Tigers, Conti and McKenzie and the crew that roll through there, it's another one of those mouth-watering games where it's just good talent v good talent. So it'd be nice to watch that. We got our scoring back last week too, with Jackie obviously hitting the scoreboard, Ashley looking pretty dangerous, a couple of our smalls, looking pretty good too, Bowie up the ground. So we got that combination right, and I thought the defenders, even though there was a bit of change, our defence looked pretty solid, well organised. Our live play defence was pretty well done from quarter 1 to 4 too. So. I think we're just trying to get more of that, to be fair, to see some consistency in performance. But it starts around contest and stoppage work for us to make sure that we're giving ourselves the best chance to play the game in the front half, which then supports everything else.
What have you made of Richmond this year? Obviously, for the similar boat last week, now they're 0-4 off the back of the final last year. Has that been strange to see? And see that the midfielders are probably their informed players at the moment, but how wary are you still of them despite their kind of record so far?
Yeah, I don't view them, or we don't view them as a 0-4 team. Like they've just got too much talent on the field. Look at Brennan Greiser up front, Conti and McKenzie, and Kelly's in really good form as well, and they've got a really strong, experienced backline. They've been getting looks up front, just not scoring as efficiently as maybe that might put scoreboard pressure on teams. Like the game against the Bombers up in Darwin, I think it was, like they had chances to win the game there, just kicked inaccurately, a bit like ourselves. So, fully respect the fact that they're a strong midfield team. They're going to get looks going forward. We just need to make sure we deter those options as best we can, and make the most of our own opportunities. They're too good to think that they're a 0-4 team. The competition isn't like that. It's like from week to week, depending on who you're playing, you're still a good chance to compete, and we know that they're a strong contested team. The numbers say that. So going to Ava's point before around what we want to see is our contest method and pressure still needs to be exactly how it needs to be against any team. So they're too good just to let them slide through and think that the talent will beat the talent.
Did you say? I think there's a few articles this week about a bit of a gap between the best and the top and the bottom, though. Have you seen that? I guess the progression of where we're heading. That some of these teams are putting really large scores on the board, and then there's other ones where some teams are struggling to score, and that gap seems to have widened a little bit. Like, what do you just make of the rest of the competitions so far this year? Now we're in year 10 and it's kind of worked.
It almost feels like it's going back, full circle to those top 3 or 4 teams from yesteryear who are continually dominating games. Brisbane, Adelaide, North Melbourne, Melbourne to a degree this season off the back of the year last year. Hawthorn off the back of their season last year to now. Obviously, they're still a threatening team, but the teams that are kind of chasing and maybe not getting the scores are the teams that have built their list over the last 2 or 3 years with some really strong draft picks that are getting games into them and experience that they need, so that when the time is right, that when they click, the talent plus their experience is going to really challenge those teams. Like the Western Bulldogs this year have been a different outfit from last year, which is great for everyone to see. We're still kind of teetering on that middle layer there. We need to kind of find our way into that top 6 or top 4, but it just takes time. Like Sydney have jumped big time this year with the talent they've built over the last 2 or 3 years as well, and they're scoring really well. But it's just going to take some time and practice for these girls to keep playing footy and gelling and connecting. The talent is now coming into the competition pretty quickly. So it's just a matter of making sure that talent gets enough chances to play. And that's the thing with those teams who are continually doing well. I'd love to see their finals games and their games in total over the last 7 or 8 years, where they've probably played 4 or 5 extra games a year on top of the rest of the competition. So that adds up pretty quick to around practice. So it won't be long until it starts to even itself out to a degree. But the games are competitive, which is what we want.
Would you like to see some mechanisms in a salary cap and just things that would let that competition come in the future?
Well, I think it just needs time to write itself out a bit. I think all those conversations are being had through the AFL around how we can, equalisation or give clubs an advantage to get more talent in through different avenues. I'm a big fan of all of that, exploring ways to grow your list in a positive way. But the list still needs, your team still needs time to gel, and 12 games plus finals in a season isn't enough time to do it. That's why the more games they play, the better.
We've seen some young talent on our side, of course, some debutantes having an impact already. How are we feeling about some of the younger girls on the side?
Yeah, good. Emma Kilpatrick's a prime example. She's come in and played every game so far. She's played as a defender. She can play as a midfielder. She's quite flexible for us. And the way she's, I suppose, inserted herself into what a life of a full-time athlete could look like has been really, really pleasing. You throw in Lexi Gregor and Sienna Telleriti last week in their first game, and they held themselves in positive light as well. They've played the game at high levels, these girls. They're all either state representatives or national representatives. They're winners in their own right. So you'll see more and more of these younger groups coming through. They've all been playing together or against each other for a long period already as juniors. So they were really good in the weekend, those 3 in particular. So really, really pleased with the young ones coming through for our group, and we need to keep continuing to give them chances to play as well. And I know a short season if you're not winning every week might dampen that or might quicken that if there's a need for it. But we've got to keep spinning the magnets and making our team different from week to week, and those girls have helped do that.